Holy wow, Batman. We are dipping into some weird, bizarre stuff tonight, and every bit of it is true, and this is probably the best podcast as of yet. So tonight we're diving into the kind of facts that punch holes in reality. True stories so strange they make the world feel inside out. Did you know Cleopatra lived closer in time to the iPhone than to the building of the Great Pyramid? There's a planet made entirely of diamonds, and it's twice the size of Earth. There you go, Rod. Infrasound, sound below human hearing, can cause unease, hallucinations, and even a sense of being watched, and it's been detected at some haunted locations. Think about that, paranormal people. All right, here we go for our friends. We're going to start naming some friends and things for them. This one's for Mike. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on every beach on Earth by a factor of at least 10. It's actually backed up by astrophysicists. Just quickie here. There are about 7 quintillion, 5 quadrillion grains of sand on Earth. That's a 75 followed by 17 zeros. But the observable universe contains around 1 septillion stars. That's a 1 followed by 24 zeros. So yeah, stars win by at least 10 times, maybe way more. All right, some parts of the Earth's crust are missing, literally gone. And scientists don't know why. In 1950, the CIA considered using fake alien landings as a psychological warfare. So it's partly true because of, the conspiracy theories and stuff. There were actual memos and suggestions from people tied to intelligence circles, especially during Project Blue Book and psychological op eras, about using UFO fear to manipulate populations. The full fake landing idea was never officially executed, but it was seriously discussed. Did you know that sharks existed before trees by at least 200 million years? Did you also know a human can survive being frozen solid and brought back to life if it's done just right, like doctors did once in Norway? Here's one for Sherry. In the 1970s, a town near Brownsville, Texas, reported sightings of a giant bird with leathery wings and no feathers. Locals called it a thunderbird, and police even filed reports. This thing was described as looking like a pterosaur. It made the newspapers, it made people terrified, and it was never caught, and it's still unsolved. Did you know that you shed 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells every minute? Meaning most household dust is actually human. NASA discovered heat signatures under Antarctica that suggest geothermal activity, but it's nowhere near a volcano. NASA published this in 2017, showing unexpected heat flow beneath the ice, sparking curiosity about what's causing it. Here's one for Jess and Duska. In the 1800s, a man named Joseph Bladesdell was buried in Robbinston, Maine, and for decades, his grave glowed at night, drawing crowds from across the state. Locals called it the glowing grave, and newspapers at the time confirmed the eerie light was real. No scientific explanation ever stuck, and the glow eventually stopped after the grave was disturbed. Did you know that time moves slower in your feet than in your head because of gravity? The government once ran a program to weaponize weather during the Vietnam War. Project Popeye used cloud sending and seeding to extend monsoon season and flood enemy supply lines. Your body carries more foreign bacteria than human cells. Here's one for Gail and Leah. In the Ossipee Mountains of New Hampshire, there's a perfectly circular ring of ancient volcanic rock that geologists believe is part of a 100 million year old impact crater, but it's almost never talked about. It's called the Ossipee Ring Dike, and it's so perfectly circular that early surveyors thought it was man-made. Might even be connected to a rare magnetic anomaly or the anomalies that happen in the area. Octopuses have genes that can edit themselves in real time, essentially rewriting their biology on demand. NASA has recorded unexplained structures on the far side of the moon, then buried the reports. Anyone know of Pink Floyd? NASA has thousands of photographs, some with anomalies, but no verified structures. However, several whistleblowers, engineers, contractors have claimed image editing protocols existed during Apollo. There is a floating island of garbage in the Pacific twice the size of Texas. Here's one for Rod. There is a place in Kansas where rocks naturally form into perfect spheres, and no one can fully answer it or know why. It's called the Rock City near Minneapolis, Kansas. The area has nearly 200 huge sandstone balls, some over 6 feet wide, scattered across the prairie. Geologists say they are called concretions, but their size and perfection are still mysterious. Your brain can generate enough electricity to power a light bulb. In 2016, a strange circular anomaly pulsing like a heartbeat was recorded under Antarctica. Satellite data showed a low-frequency pulse near the South Pole, originally flagged by researchers studying ice sheet movements. The origin remains unexplained. And if you go back into my other podcast about Antarctica, there's part 1 and part 2, you'll hear about it. Did you know some turtles can breathe through their butts? Earth has underground rivers that stretch for hundreds of miles beneath the surface. Here's one for Karen. In South Dakota, there's a massive underwater forest preserved at the bottom of Poctola Lake, complete with standing trees that are still intact decades after the valley was flooded. When the Pactola Reservoir was created, entire stands of tall ponderosa pine were submerged. Because the water is cold and low oxygen, the trees never rotted. Divers say it looks like a drowned ghost forest frozen in time. The NSA collected data on millions of Americans without warrants. Exposed by Edward Snowden in 2013, mass surveillance of phone and internet records were confirmed. Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. Here is one for Deanna. Hidden deep in Tennessee's Cumberland Plateau is a natural phenomenon called the blue hole, where the water glows an electric blue even in complete darkness, and scientists still don't fully understand the light source. Local divers and biologists have studied it for years. It isn't bioluminescence, it isn't minerals, and it isn't reflection. The glow comes from deep within a submerged cavern system no one has fully explored. If you drilled straight through the earth, it would take about 42 minutes to fall to the other side. That's it. There are over 600,000 people reported missing every year in the U.S., and tens of thousands are never found. Here's one for Miss Hallowell. There's a stone wall under Lake Michigan that looks like Stonehenge, including a carving of a mastodon. Your brain uses more electricity than all of your household appliances combined. The Pentagon once considered creating fake ghosts to scare enemy soldiers during the Vietnam War. Operation Wandering Soul used psychological warfare broadcasts of ghosts and distressed spirits. There is a place in Africa where lakes turn animals into stone. Talk about Greek mythology and Medusa. Here's one for Cindy and Selena. There's a fire that's been burning underground in Centralia, Pennsylvania since 1962. It could keep burning for over 200 more years. It started in a local coal mine and still smolders beneath the empty town, which inspired the setting for Silent Hill. Baalbek in Lebanon has stones so massive modern cranes can't lift them, but they were moved thousands of years ago. More people have been to the moon than the deepest part of the Earth's oceans. There is a jellyfish that can live forever. There are caves in Vietnam so large that they have their own weather systems. The Amazon rainforest once had cities with complex road systems and pyramids hidden under the trees. Here's one for Holly. In the 1930s, dozens of people in Alabama reported seeing a glowing humanoid figure with bat-like wings flying over rooftops. Locals called it the Mobile Midnight Flyer. At the Very Large Array in New Mexico, astronomers have recorded repeating radio bursts, so strong and precise that some physicists suggest they might be artificial. Yet the source remains completely unknown. These are real, fast radio bursts. Some last milliseconds, some repeat, some don't. Some come from billions of light years away. No star, no planet, or known cosmic event can explain all of them. Scientists admit they don't know the cause. Conspiracy theorists argue they're signals. And the creepy part is this. A few bursts arrive in mathematically perfect intervals, as if patterned. Here's one for Sarah and Joe, even though they probably know this already. It is illegal for residents to pump their own gas in New Jersey, making it only one of two states. Oregon is the other. Here's one for Ed, Terry, and Sam in Florida's Indian River Lagoon. The water actually glows neon blue when you move your hand through it. Some nights, the glowing shapes follow boats and swimmers as if something is alive chasing them. The glow is 100% real bioluminescent caused by dinoflagellates, but here's where it gets weird. Scientists still don't fully understand why the lagoon has had surges of bioluminescence in years when conditions don't match the usual triggers. Local fishermen swear the glowing trails sometimes move in deliberate patterns, almost tracking objects rather than reacting randomly. Well, conspiracy theorists claim the Navy tests classified underwater tech in that region, which could possibly be affecting the blooms. The human stomach gets a new lining every 3 to 4 days to avoid digesting itself. Time dilation is real. If you live at the top of a skyscraper, you age slightly faster than someone on the ground floor. Your DNA can hold about 700 terabytes of data in a single gram, and scientists have already used it to store actual videos and computer files. Here is one for Panda and Tanya. In Wyoming at Yellowstone, there's a supervolcano with a magma chamber so massive it could wipe out much of North America. But scientists didn't know its full size until advanced imaging revealed in 2013. That chamber is over 44 miles wide, and it's still active. It breathes, literally, rising and falling like a lung. Slime mold has no brain, but it can solve mazes, learn patterns, and share information with other molds. In 2020, Dutch scientists discovered a previously unknown set of salivary glands deep in the upper throat. Yes, hidden behind the nose, despite centuries of medical study. They were actually found by accident. Yeah. They found it during cancer scans using advanced imaging called PSMA, a PET scan or CAT scan. The glands are tucked near the nasopharynx, yes, and had never been classified before. They're now called the tubercle glands. There is a spot in the Pacific Ocean called Point Nemo that's so remote that the closest humans are usually astronauts on the International Space Station. Here's one for Tiffany. West Virginia in the 1960s. The Green Bank Observatory in West Virginia became part of a governmental-imposed radio quiet zone where wireless signals are banned across 13,000 square miles because it's listening for messages deep from space. It's so silent there that people have moved in to escape technology, and some believe the government's listening for more than just stars. Crows can recognize human faces, pass down grudges to future generations, and hold funerals for their dead. This next one is for Diane, Dakota, Bud, Ryan, and Michael Anthony. In the Catskill Mountains of New York, there's an ancient stone chamber aligned to the solstices. It's built without mortar, and no one knows who made it. It's called the Needham Chamber, or sometimes America's Stonehenge of New York. And while some say it's a root cellar, others argue it matches Celtic or pre-Columbian designs. It lines up perfectly with the rising and setting sun during key solar events. The Pentagon has acknowledged having off-world materials in its possession, though they still haven't explained what that means. The quantum particles in your body can be entangled with others, meaning you could be physically linked to distant parts of the universe without knowing it. The U.S. Navy has openly filed patents for technology that mimics gravity manipulation and craft that can operate underwater and in space. A Russian scientist once injected himself with 3.5 million year old bacteria found in the Siberian permafrost and claimed it boosted his immune system. The CIA once ran a program where they tried to kill people using psychic energy classified under Project Artichoke. And to finish this off with a creepy one, the average person walks past about 36 murderers in their lifetime. This is based on FBI crime stats and average population data. It assumes that you're living in a moderately populated area and you cross paths with tens of thousands of people in a lifetime. Most murderers aren't serial killers. They're people who killed once, often for personal reasons, and then went unnoticed. So yeah, chances are you've walked right by one, maybe more than once. Think about it. Even talk to him, right? The world isn't just weirder than we think. It's weirder than we can think. What's hiding in plain sight? What's buried deep? Or what's walking right past us might not be fiction. It might just be what we're not ready to explain. Not quite yet. Blooper time, blooper time.
Time for the bloopers.
1970s, a town near... Whoosh, go back to here's one for Sherry. Damn it all, here we go. Mistake. Of Blaisdell was buried in Robbinston, Maine. And for decades, his fucking grace. Are you kidding me? Go back, 3, 2, 1. When the Patola River... Blah! Go back to when. They're now called the tuberous glands. Whoosh! Damn it! Go back to there. West Virginia in the 1960s. The Green Bake. 3, 2, 1. It's so silent that there are people there moved in it. Gosh darn it! Can't fucking read. Go back to it's so silent. Area and you cross. I can't fricking talk. Go back to it. It's walking right past us. Jesus, Joseph, Mary. Start with the world. This has been another episode of Origin Unexplained. If you have a story you would like told, or if you would like to tell your own story, email us at originunexplained@gmail.com.
Origin Unexplained.